As you know, the endless debate about climate change and the need for action is one that has dogged Australian politics for a long time. Put simply, unless you believe in cancelling the 21st century, then you are somebody who is going to guarantee we won't have a 22nd century. Here's Each Way Albo.
Australians do want action on climate change. The Deputy Prime Minister yesterday said there was new measures were needed and a new response, and today, going from the acting Prime Minister to the real Prime Minister, we have a dismissal of the need for any action on climate change.
Now, something that is always pointed to about why Australia must do more when it comes to climate change is because there's countries like China. And China, of course, have come out and said that they, despite the fact that the Paris Accord says they can spew as much shit as they want into the air or into the ground or into the rivers, they can continue to pollute right up until 2030, and it's only at 2030 that they can start to be judged. They have said that they will go to net zero, not by 2040, 2050, but 2060 is what they are talking about. And because China has set this target that is apparently more ambitious than the Australian target, that is 10 years after the wish list of Each Way Albo, this is being invoked as a reason why Australia is dragging its feet. Our old mate Nicholas Rees said it last night.
Back in 2009, China was such a laggard on climate policy that Kevin was throwing punches and, as Rita said, calling them rat effers. But fast forward to 2021, and of course, now China has a more ambitious climate reduction target than Australia. They're going to zero by 2060, and we don't even have a date that we commit to getting to zero by.
Well, you know, on this show, we live in the real world, and here's the real world. James Morrow wrote today about a report which came out from the IPA. China emits carbon emissions in 16 days, what Australia does in an entire year. They are going to continue to increase their carbon production till 2030, and they don't promise to get to zero until 2060. And even then, when we are being pushed to do things that will rob us of the 21st century in order to save the 22nd and somehow push us back into the 19th, blowing away thousands of jobs and changing people's lives forever, particularly in regional communities, it might not be even enough then. You see, America has rejoined the fight against climate change aggressively by joining back into the Paris Climate Accord. John Kerry, that cardboard cutout, who tried to run for president in 2004, has been saved by Joe Biden and has been reinvented or reanimated to be able to be his climate czar. And he said the quiet part out loud. This is what he said about even America going to zero now.
We could go to zero tomorrow, and the problem isn't solved.
So here's the point. Of course, there should be action on climate change, but we shouldn't be robbing ourselves of the modernity or the natural benefits that we have as a country. Because a country that pollutes as much as we do in an entire year in 19 days is going to get worse in the next 9 years. And they say things don't get rosy until 2060. So as I like to say, pull the other one up, play us jingle.